Cool, cool. Oh, hey, camera, I didn't see you there. How's it going? I was just catching up on some comic book reading. I was, reading some Witchblade. You know, I think probably Witchblade is my favorite Marvel title. Oh, wait. My favorite DC title. No. Hold on. Oh, it's not either. It's Top Cow. What do you know? There's, more comic book publishers than just Marvel or DC. Today, on Comics Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about indie books. And for the duration of this video, indie books means not Marvel or DC. Just for simplicity's sake. Let's kick this pig. So I might as well just start off by talking some Top Cow. That includes Witchblade, which is one of my favorites. It also includes The Darkness. They have something of a shared universe, wherein the Witchblade and the Darkness and the Angelus are all in an epic war of angels and demons and witches and werewolves and all sorts of cool stuff like that. But also on the flip side of Top Cow, there's the sci-fi portions that are just as good. And that includes Cyberforce, which is a really spectacular book. It features this team of superhero assassin type group. It's all technologically modified. And they are a unique and interesting enough team of superheroes that I personally put them right up there with the Justice League or X-Men. But let's keep going. Let's move outside of Top Cow. Other Image heroes. Image, you see, is the one company out there where they just publish. That's all. Any writer who comes to them with characters and ideas and gets published, they own all of their ideas. So that complicates things, but makes it really unique. And a lot of books get out there through Image that Marvel or DC would always be too afraid to publish. And first and foremost, let's talk about Spawn. Spawn was among Image's first mega hit. There was a point in time that everyone was into some Spawn. There was a movie. I can't say that movie was good, but it exists. And there's also a cartoon series. Spawn was in Soul Calibur 2. The series is still ongoing. And throughout the history, there have been good and bad portions of Spawn comics. Another great example of what you can do with an Image book. Savage Dragon. Look at this guy. Isn't that awesome? One way that this book is really unique is that it's progressed in real time. Since I started publishing to today, there's no comic book time, there's no insisting that characters are younger than they are. The protagonist, Savage Dragon, had a child born, grown up, in the time that this book has been publishing. That's amazing to me. And page after page of this book is filled with violence and humor in equal measure. Moving right along, the next publisher we're going to be talking about is Dark Horse, which you may know for their big star, Hellboy. And their Hellboy films, 2 of them, very good ones. An animated feature, haven't seen it, I don't know. But Hellboy is really special for the way it presents its tone. It does not for a second try to ape the style of Marvel and DC heroes. And that's reflected in the art style. It's got this moody, shadowy, sort of horror art style to it that really fits the character. Meanwhile, Hellboy himself is snarking, cracking jokes, and giving more realistic dialogue than what you're used to seeing in a comic book. And that expands to a few other Dark Horse titles. Right out of the pages of Hellboy, there's BPRD and Abe Sapien. So check them out, they're good books. It's not just American books that have a monopoly on superheroes. There's comics printed from various places around the world. Very notably so, Japanese manga, which has titles like Dragon Ball Z. I can get hyped over some DBZ. With the Dragon Ball series, as well as other series like Yu Yu Hakusho and Bleach, One Piece, Naruto, they're all in the shonen style with various similar elements. You know, action, superheroing, all that. And outside of the shonen style, there are all sorts of other things. For example, Guyver, the Bio-Boosted Armor, which is a slight deviation from shonen in that it takes a more serious turn, and it mixes in a lot of horror elements. And then further deviating from shonen, there's completely different books that have nothing resembling superheroics in them. And admittedly, this is the type of manga that I'm least familiar with, but there are a good few that I happen to know are great. For example, Death Note, case closed, focus in on a mystery. And while they have violence, the point is not to show it in graphic detail. It is instead an exercise in thinking, following the plot and all the complex and interesting twists and turns it takes. And that's just about it for superhero comics outside of Marvel and DC. But that's just the half of it. There's all sorts of books that don't have capes or laser vision or any of that. And let me tell you, this is a whole lot of new ground for me. Let's keep going. And we're going to start this portion with a book that I genuinely thought was a superhero book, but it wasn't. And that is The Crow Curare. You've heard of The Crow, right? Perhaps you've seen the movie? So I picked this up expecting what you're probably thinking of. A pissed off Onryo, rising from the grave. So after just a few tears and some overzealous makeup application, he goes after the guys that wronged him. Kills them good. And just like in the movie, that's exactly what I expected to see here in this book. But I was wrong. I was far off. So, in this book, the tortured soul who's seeking vengeance against evil people isn't the ghost. There is a living protagonist who's trying his best to solve this really disturbing murder case. And he becomes obsessed with it. He suffers. It gets really serious and sad about here. The ghost in this story is a small child who was murdered by a pedophile. Really horrible. But the twist really comes in that she's mostly just there to console the protagonist. So what very well could have been a simple revenge plot turned into this really beautiful exploration of how innocent children can be and with elements of accepting your own demise. It's a super interesting series, and I'm glad I read it. But now let's move on to the next topic, and that is Archie Comics. Archie's been around since the 40s, and the main focus of these books is this group of friends in high school with relationship drama and, small-time everyday life stuff. So you would think, after all these years and years, wouldn't that get boring? Yeah, you'd think, but they've done all of the weirdest stuff in the world with this. Crossed over as Sabrina the Teenage Witch, so there's magic and what have you. There's a portion where they all get turned into zombies. There's Archie meets the Punisher. There's Archie versus Predator. I'm not making that up. But after all this, the most different thing they could do is rebooting it. New number 1 that takes the premise 100% straightforward. And that is an amazing book. You should go out right now, check it out. But also within the Archie Publishing Company, they have something a little closer to superheroes, more action-y, if you will, and that is their video game licenses. They have Sonic the Hedgehog and Mega Man. And I can't really speak to the consistency since me reading these is a pretty occasional thing, but I've never read a bad one. IDW. Morning, noon, and night. These guys make their money with licensed material, which maybe doesn't sound like it'd be the coolest thing in the world. They do it right. Even My Little Pony. And look, the special thing about indie books is they're not Marvel and DC. They don't have such a focus on a shared universe and a heavy history. So that's where all the really weird books go. And in that weirdness, there's a lot of treasure. Pure gold. Just over in Top Cow, there is a title called The Tithe. And this is a heist story, but the place is getting robbed at churches. So it's also an examination of religion itself as well as the structure of mega churches. Easily one of my favorite books that I've read recently. I cannot do justice to Image's series Saga. This is an ongoing sci-fi fantasy epic in every sense of the word. There is a lot of weirdness going on in these, and a lot of it isn't safe for children, but it's oddly family-centric at the same time. And apparently this was written intentionally to be impossible to adapt, so there you go. Truly bizarre, and I highly recommend it. And also from Image is Sex Criminals. And obviously that is a title strictly for adults. Despite its title, it isn't actually about sex crimes. In reality, it's about a couple of people who commit crimes and have sex. And this is one of the silliest, funniest comedic books that I've ever read. So assuming you're of a certain age and you're looking for a laugh, pick this up. Dick jokes aplenty. Now that I've covered all the different publishers, it goes deeper still. There's a wealth of comics out there. And this is the part where it can be kind of hard to navigate because about anybody can draw some pictures and put them up on the web. But I say it's worth looking for because of the ones that are really good. And one's very spectacular example is Dr. McNinja. And that's exactly what it sounds like. This is a book that focuses on the adventures of a doctor who is also a ninja. Man, do I love this series. The entire book doesn't take itself too seriously, and it is constant stringing together of high-flying action and ridiculous, absurdist humor. And it does these two things spectacularly well, which is why it got noticed and picked up by Dark Horse Comics. So now, it's not only a web series, but you can get it in print. There's a whole lot of the indie book spectrum that I haven't been through. Here's some series that I have no personal experience with, but sources say they be good. The Walking Dead, The Wicked and the Divine, Chew, and Think Tank. Consider giving these a try. So, it's time to wind things down. This isn't all I have to say about such a vast topic, not by far. Which is probably all I should say right now. There's definitely stuff out there that you might just be glad you picked up. So go read them and enjoy. So now it's time for the viewer question of the week, which is, what's your favorite indie book? My answer is Witchblade. So hit the comment section down below. Tell me, what's your favorite indie book? Do you not read indie books? Which ones are you thinking about? Talk to me, people. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and come back next time for more Comics Tuesday. Next time on Comics Tuesday, Goku, as a Super Saiyan God, moved faster than the new Fantastic Four movie can bore me to tears. We'll see. Thanks for watching.